Me and my buddy B2 have a great kick serve lesson for you in crazy, crazy detail with one of my favorite instructors, Jeff Saldenstein. Jeff's definitely one of the best instructors online out there with an amazing kick serve. And the reason why I'm bringing this to you is we're coming up on the tennis summit where we have the best instructors on the planet run by my good friend Maribon, and Jeff is a big part of that as he is of TennisCon. So this is a video from TennisCon, but TennisCon is very similar to the Tennis Summit. So if you like TennisCon, you're going to love the Tennis Summit. It's got all the best instructors in the world. You get a free ticket by just clicking up in the card section or the description below. Get your free ticket and enjoy this great video with Jeff going on the kick serve. People loved it when we did it, and I think you're going to like it too.
All right, you guys are going to have fun. We're going to kick it with Salzy so we can kick it like Salzy. This is going to be a great talk today. We're going over the kick serve. A lot of people, I believe the kick serve is the most searched term on YouTube. Is that correct in tennis? I've seen that. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard as well. And it's so interesting because it is one of the hardest things to do in tennis. So maybe people just like to punish themselves with learning the kick serve. But in all seriousness, the kick serve is, I like to look at it like if you can hit a kick serve or if you know how to hit topspin, that you truly have developed a professional looking serve, which so many players aspire to have a serve that resembles what the pros do.
Absolutely. Hey, we got Jill on, who is from Denver. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Making you feel at home already, Jeff. Denver is a beautiful place.
You know, last week, maybe it was U.S. News and World Report, 4 out of the top 5 places to live are in Colorado. Wow. Number 1 was Boulder. Number 2 was Denver. I think 2 was Austin. 3 was Denver. 4 was Colorado Springs. 5 was Fort Collins. So we're kind of cornering the market. Everyone's moving here, especially the Californians.
It is a beautiful place. People are saying they like the beard. Nice new beard.
Wow. You get the little gray speckles here. Let's just say maybe it resembles a little bit of wisdom, years of studying the craft here.
Yeah. And we got this guy, David Lee, by the way. Every time we do tennis trivia, he crushes. He crushes.
You definitely would crush me.
So let's talk about the kick serve. Why would we want to have a kick serve? We know that it looks cool, but what are like the benefits of being able to use a kick serve in a match?
Sure. So I alluded to it a couple minutes ago. When I watch club players, passionate club players, you've seen this as well, Peter, they want to learn a professional looking serve. They show up to the court, they take their video or they come take their lesson and they think they're kicking the serve or they think they look like a pro. But the reality is a lot of times they don't have the right grip to hit a kick serve. They don't have the right amount of turn or coil. Their foundation is not set up correctly. They might have a little bit of a weight or tray. And so it's set up, the way people serve is set up to not be able to do it very well. But the importance of it, to get to your question, is I look at it like, again, if you can hit a topspin serve, a serve that has true topspin, and then kind of that next level is to really be able to make it kick and bounce the opposite direction, it's like you have mastery, you have understanding of how the game is played at the highest level, and you have that ball control. So under pressure, you can hit a serve that arcs over the net instead of a line drive that has less margin for error. So there's like a foundational benefits to having a kick serve or a topspin serve because you've truly learned the proper skill that can allow you to keep growing your game and to keep moving. Because if you're serving with a forehand grip and you serve with slice and the toss is out to the side and you kind of have a sidearm motion, you're going to be limited at some point. You're going to kind of hit that wall. So I like to look at the kick serve as that progression of these are the next steps for you to become that next level, that 3-5, that 4-0, that 4-5. The kick serve kind of embodies that.
Yes, I agree. Hey, we're already up to 78 people on, which is pretty awesome. So it's great to be with you. Right now, if you're just joining, we have Jeff Saldenstein from Tennis Evolution. Definitely one of the best instructors on the internet, one of the best players that we have as a coach. We're lucky to have him, former top 100. I watched a YouTube video where he's playing Michael Chang and playing 23,000 people. John McEnroe calling the match, keeps saying, man, this Salzenstein's playing pretty darn good. Crushing some serves. And, you definitely have one of the best serves. I got to go out. I took a lesson from Jeff, if you guys don't know, on the forehand. He gave me a great lesson. I used it in so many videos. I talk about that inside-out forehand that you gave me, which was so fun. I'll never forget it. And we also made 2 serves videos together. One was a slice serve, and one was a kick serve. And I got to see Jeff's kick up close and personal. I've seen it on videos where I'm like, man, that thing looks like it's jumping pretty good. But when I saw it up close, I'm like, yeah, that is like pro league right there. That's the real deal. So what are the elements that you think make your kick serve special, especially for a lefty? I might add, I think you have one of the better kick serves because we typically spend so much time on the slice. Like my slice is like a million times better than my kick, but I don't know if your slice is so much better than your kick because your kick is pretty darn, like if you had to rate your slice versus your kick, what do you think is better? Are they even, or is your slice way better? Is your kick better? And why is your kick so good?
I mean, I'd probably say my slice is better. I mean, as a lefty, we've got to hit that slider to the backhand. We do it for so many years. It's probably better. Hey, Ronald, how are you? But, the kick serve, what the lesson or the big takeaway I want to give you right now before we dig into some technique and I share some videos is that if you're a passionate player and you want to get better, it's a growth mindset about how to get better, how to improve your serve. You just talked about the Chang match. You talked about I had one of the best serves, and people don't realize that when I was 19 years old, I was playing number 5 for Stanford, which obviously a great accomplishment and was a top national player. But I literally had one of the worst serves in college tennis. That is not a marketing quote. That is true. I mean, I was double faulting once or twice a game. I had no power on my serve. And so when you're 19 years old and you're playing 5 for Stanford, you know this, Peter, that's not the track of someone who's going to play pro tennis. That's the track that he's going to graduate. He's going to get into tech in Silicon Valley. And, that's what he's going to do. And so what I want to impart on everybody is that there is to hold on to that possibility of transformation, to hold on to that possibility that you can change, that if you focus on the right information, that if you get a coach like Peter or a coach like myself who understands the serve and you go through the progressions and you're patient with the process, you can actually develop a modern style serve. And that's what I did. I transformed my serve from 19 to 20, 21. And then when I was on the tour, I kept studying the serve and I worked with John Yandel when I was 28. And we changed my stance and we changed my ball position and we changed a lot of things. And I kept just evolving. And so anybody listening, you're here because you have a growth mindset, but you can develop it if you focus on the right things. It's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And that's the kind of the motivational inspiration I want to give everyone, that it is possible to develop a professional looking serve and develop topspin and even a little bit of kick.
Yeah, I think that's great. We are almost at 100. Guys, share this with all your friends on social media. Send them an email real quick. Put it on Facebook. Go make a TikTok dance video really fast right now. I'm serious. No, I'm not really serious. But anyway, share it with your people. We just went over 100. Yes, you guys are awesome. Somebody must have made a TikTok video.
I love it.
One thing, too, I think.
Lunchtime special right now, on the East Coast.
I thought about with one of my students the other day who is picking up the serve. He's had a frying pan. He has easily 4-0 strokes, but he has easily a 3-0, 3-5 serve technique. Frying pan grip. We're teaching him how to have the continental grip, how to impart some spin to the ball. He's doing incredibly well in just a couple weeks. But of course, he wants to unwrap it, put it on the shelves, sell it to the audience. It's not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
What do you think about the patience? What should the expectations be to actually be able to do this? You can watch all the right information, but how much work should realistically go into this? We're like, hey, you know what? I can deploy this in a match.
Yeah, it's a fabulous question. And this is where I draw on my experience as a player. I've got ego. I like to win. Whenever I made changes and then I would go out on the court and go play a practice match or even a competitive match, and I would try to do new things, if it didn't work and it was messing up with the rest of my game. So we see this a lot with serve. If you're trying so hard to hit that kick, but then you're not ready for the first ball, or you're not ready to play the point in the correct way, and you're making a bunch of errors. I always tell people, listen, let's work on our competitive skills and use that frying pan grip in your match today, because that allows you, it gives you the best chance to win. And if you go 6 months without winning one tennis match because you're trying to do this kick serve, it could really hurt the ego and your ability to learn to win. Now, some people say, hey, I'm just going to do this anyway. And I give them that option. But I'm never hell-bent on people having to make these changes in competitive environments. So I almost look at it like you're two players. You're the player that goes out that competes in your Alta League or your league matches. And if that's a frying pan grip for the next 3 to 6 months or even a year, that's what you do. And you work on your competitive skills. But you've got to spend 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week getting out there, working on those little drills, those little progressions that guys like Peter and I know that can help you develop it over time. So it's a process, and it's not black and white. And you do have to be able to compartmentalize your development and not try to do too much too fast when you're competing. Yeah,
I love that, because I think a lot of adults, here's what I think. I want to get your, I mentioned this the other day.
Mm-hmm. I think I heard it too.
Is a lot of adults feel like they are slow learners compared to kids. And the more I teach, I'm like, I don't think adults learn slower than kids. I think it's either just the same, or sometimes because people are forking over some big money and it's their money, they're working harder, they're improving faster, but they might give up at the 1 yard line because it's just not happening fast enough for them. And they feel like they're a loser and something wrong with them or something. They just kind of give up when they're making such great strides where we're willing to watch a kid go from 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now all of a sudden, like, whoa, that kid's got an amazing serve. It's like, yeah, but you didn't realize for like 3 years their serve was horrible. They didn't even hit in the box, right? I mean, shouldn't the adults be a little more patient with themselves?
Yeah, definitely patience. And I think the biggest mistake that's made so far, from what I can see out there, is that players are just not focusing on the right things. And so it's hard to know what is the right thing, right? Because there's so much information out there. And I think one is kind of trial by fire, either with different frameworks or different coaches or different systems, and to see what resonates, and to really be able to work with a coach or work with someone that can give you those progressions. You know, if you go take a lesson and they say, well, just, get your toss up and use your legs and keep your head up and then just kind of swing it like this, that's probably not the person that's going to help you break it down. So I think it's important to find the right information so you can have the progress. But I think what you also have to take a realistic look at as a player of, there's a couple of factors as an adult. I agree with you. Adults can learn really fast. And I've seen that. But there's two other factors involved. One is, how good of an athlete are you? If you know that for example, I have a student that I work with locally here, and she's really been trying to get this topspin serve from having frying pan for 8 years. She was new to the sport at 40 years old, which we meet a lot of people, Peter, that just start in their 40s and even 50s, and they've been playing for 5 years or 6 years. If they're an amazing athlete, they have a better chance of making that change. But if they were never an athlete, this woman was never an athlete. So it's harder for her. It takes more time for her to make those changes. And so you just have to be realistic with yourself. I see other people that are phenomenal athletes and they make the changes faster. And that doesn't mean you're good or you're bad or you're worse or you're better. It's just knowing yourself. Hey, I maybe have to work a little harder at this because I never threw a ball when I was a kid. I didn't understand the throwing motion. So that's important, the athletics. And then the other is your level. So, you've seen this. You'll see a kid who's 12 years old and you'll say, hey, use the buggy whip. And they do it in 30 seconds. And you work with an adult and it might take longer. So your skill set, if you don't have a defined skill set, it may be harder for you to learn. But that's part of the challenge, right? It's like, this is why you're playing this sport. And if you're 45 years old or 50 years old, the intention is to play for the next 30 years.
Yes.
So you got 30 years to learn this thing. I know you want it now. You're a high achiever. Listen, I want to learn now too, but Peter started his online business 10 years ago. I did as well. It's not a straight line.
No.
It takes time, and you just show up every day trying to get a little bit better.
Yeah, that is great stuff. So let's talk about some of the technical elements that you think you got to do it. You got to do it if you want to have a kick serve.
Sure. So is it okay if I share my screen?
It is more than okay, Jeff.
And then I forgot there was a certain way to do it here.
Well, you hit it. Look down at the bottom.
I see that. I remember last time it didn't work, and I don't know why.
Like kind of.
And then we figured it out, and then now. Let's see. Let me try this.
Worst case, while you're doing that, Jeff, I just want to say thank you so much. We have look at that. He did it. We have 146 people on right now at lunchtime. What?
Can you see my screen now? Can you see my video now, or is it just showing us?
It's showing us.
Darn it.
It's showing us.
We have, how do we fix it?
I don't know. You figured it out. You're like, oh, I got it. But you didn't tell me how you got it. But it's okay.
Oh man.
You can always walk us through it.
Yeah, let's see.
It's just another reason, guys. You know what? Here's a good opportunity. Jeff and I actually planned this little like Three Stooges routine.
Hold on.
Jeff, I'm about to put your affiliate.
Can you
link
see it?
There we go. Yes, he figured it out. This guy is
on the fly, adrenaline pumping. We good? So this is a kick serve video that I have on YouTube. It's probably one of my most popular videos. It's funny, like I'm at a park. Ironically enough, this is called Bible Park, and it's a mile from one of my childhood homes. And I used to live really close to my childhood home until I sold my house 3 years ago. And I just came out and made this video on the kick serve. I had no idea it was going to become one of the most popular videos on YouTube. You know this, Peter. You never know when it's going to happen. But I want to show you right now. I just want to show you where this. I'm going to show off a little bit. I want to show you where this ball bounces because people really comment on it. So
that's crazy.
Like I was just like that was like a half serve that I just. That's almost halfway up the fence. Now, I think the balls are pretty new, so that helped me. But people comment on that. But what's more important is to look at how it happened, right? And so there's a lot going on here. First of all, you can see it all right, Peter?
Yeah, it looks awesome, dude.
So first of all, look at the stance. I don't see a lot of people with a stance like that. And a lot of people shouldn't be in this stance because their body might not be able to do it. We're going to get into the body in a bit here. But look at that stance. Look at it. Look at the back foot and how not only is the back foot turned out a little bit, but if you drew a line from the toe of the back foot up to the baseline, there's a lot of space between the heel of the front foot. Most people are never in this position. So your setup makes a huge difference. And then obviously the racket face is closed. So we talk about that waiter tray. It never opens. It's not open. It's closed the whole time. So I'm getting in this majestic trophy position. Now, what I would want you to do, if you want to learn how to hit a kick serve, and this may be humbling, go out and film your serve from a back view like this and put it side by side with this position right here. If you're not, I'm not saying you need to get to that position, but if you're not approaching something that's in the ballpark, forget about hitting a great kick serve. Like maybe you're half as turned as I am, you can still hit topspin. But if you're straight on, if you're moving this foot up, to the side here, if you're facing the net too early, it's just not going to happen. And so now we get into, so that's the trophy. I always try to get people into a better foundation, something, doesn't have to look like this exactly, but it's something that resembles it.
In the ball.
And then look at what the body is doing there. Like I know again, and this was filmed a few years ago, so I was probably even more mobile then, but I mean, look at the racket drop. Look at the body, how it's bowing. Most people are straight up and down when they're hitting a serve with their body. There's no bowing of the body here. When I say a bow, you can see this curve right here. People aren't doing this, and then they're still trying to hit a topspin serve. And this is exaggeration. I would never tell someone to toss the ball this far in this case, to the right, if you're a righty, to the left. But I'm making contact on this side of my body here. Most people are over here making contact. I realize this is lefty. And then when you watch my swing path, look at how far the racket goes from right to left right there. And look at how my body is sideways. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the technique and my body is able to create this, and most people are doing the opposite of this. And when they see it, and when I explain it to them and they realize, oh my gosh, I have the wrong grip, I shouldn't say wrong, I have an inefficient grip, I have an inefficient stance, I have an inefficient turn, my toss is not in the right place, and when I make contact with the ball, I'm facing the net completely. You have no chance. So you have to completely switch the framework of how you look at serving if you want to learn how to do this. And, then the ball bounces halfway up the fence. I also want to show, this is the video that's inside the platform where I really did a progression that went even deeper than that video that I just showed you. And what I want to talk about, and I realize I'm foot faulting here, but again, notice the stance.
We can't see you now.
Oh boy. Okay. It went away.
Share it again. Do you want to share it again?
Yeah, I'm going to try it again.
You try it again, and I'm going to talk a little while you're setting that up. First of all, we're at 196 people. Okay, so whoever made the last TikTok dance video, make another one so we can get over 200. All right, he did it. Here we go.
So again, very similar. I'm teaching the serve in this video. What I want you to see is, again, look at that. Look at this position. Look at the turn. People got to work on their turn and their coil. And the stance really helps, even if you could get the toe of your back foot, even if it was like in this range, what I get concerned with is that people aren't getting a stance that looks like that. And then again, look at the bowing, look at this body. This is happening because I can open up my chest, and we're going to get into some of the body corrective exercises and some of the things to be aware of. But most people, especially as they age, have restrictions in their spine and in their hips. And I'm able to hit these serves because I still have mobility in my spine, in my hips, in the right places. And so that's that bowing you see there. This is coming from, what's called the thorax or the thoracic spine. I know that sounds very technical, but there's three parts of the spine. There's your cervical, which is your neck. There's your thorax, which is your mid-back or thoracic spine. And then there's the lumbar spine. And a lot of people have low back pain, as you know, Peter. And people are trying to get range of motion from their low back. And that's not where you get it from to hit a topspin serve. And so you have to have the flexibility and the coordination in the hips. And you have to have the flexibility and the mobility in the thorax right here. You see how my chest is opening right there. It's not coming from the low back. The low back should be more stable. And this is a part that I'm doing my best to educate the world on is think about when you want to improve your kick serve, you've got to spend at least 50% of your time on your body and 50% of the time on your technique. When people don't have a good racket drop, one of the reasons, it could be shoulder flexibility, it could be tightness where you're gripping too tight, but there's a good chance you're not able to open up your chest. And so again, you can see, look at the ball position. It's so far to the right as a lefty.
Crazy. Then you look like you're gonna hit the ball.
And you don't need to do that when you're competing. When I play, I usually put the toss maybe a little more above the head. But if you want to learn it, most people, their toss is way out here. So I'm big on the exaggeration principle. And then you can see, again, look at the swing path. It goes from right to left. And I even practice this dirty diaper concept where you finish on the opposite, you finish on the same side of your body. So if you go YouTube, Boris Becker, Stefan Edberg, Pete Sampras, Steve Johnson, it's not an accident that they actually stop their swing on that side of the body. And it's totally counter to what we're used to. Now, the caveat is if you try to do this and you start feeling pain in your shoulder, then obviously you want to change. But if you're able to relax your arm at the end, you can see my arm is bent. you can actually practice swinging and finishing on the same side of your body.
Wow. Can you go back to the contact point? By the way, thank you. We're over 200 now. This is amazing. Now, when you go to the contact, one thing was interesting.
Real quick, before we get there, look at the toss, how I toss it. See how my tossing arm, it's almost parallel to the baseline. It's not facing towards the net. I've already turned. And then look at how it arcs. See how the arc, it's arcing.
Yeah. And your whole body's moving together to make that happen.
That's right.
And right there when you're hitting, now it looks like you're hitting just almost looks like you're about to hit frame, and at the very top of almost top of the racket, like 75% up the string bed there. Is this where you hit it consistently, or is this, is it an illusion? Where are you hitting the ball on your kick serve when you're hitting the strings?
What do you mean, where on the racket?
Where on the racket? It almost looks like you're not going to hit the ball, but then
if I only knew. Let me see. So look at the arc. Yeah. And so again, now I'm really going for the serve to show off for the cameras. But look at my stance. The stance is huge. So I always tell people, listen, let's forget about any of this until you have the right grip, the right stance, and then you just make this little move right here where you turn. If you can learn that first, then you can get into this position where you're here. And so when you say, okay, look at that. The racket face is closed still. Mm-hmm. And it's still closed right there. We talk about hitting on edge, right? Mm-hmm. And then at the last moment, it squares up and you can't even see it in this frame.
You can't see it in that one because you're swinging a lot faster.
But that's the magic. And so again, when you're watching this, you're going, okay, well, Jeff's been playing since he was 5 years old. I always had I played baseball. I could throw a football. Like I was a jock. I'm not going to lie. Like I was a very good athlete and still am a good athlete. So I have the skill set to do this, but that's why it's really important. If you're watching this and you do aspire to learn a semblance of a topspin serve, you've got to get with coaches like Pete or myself that can help you get progressions to break this down. It's not about just going out and hitting serves. You have to make real key changes so that when you make contact, what I'm doing here is, honestly, Peter, I'm not thinking about where I'm hitting it on the ball. Mm-hmm. I'm focusing more on the position, getting into this position right here, feeling that position. And then from here, a lot of things are going well for me. I just focus on swinging and finishing on this side of my body. And you can see I'm exaggerating for the camera. When I play, I don't finish like that. So I come across, I come through, and I finish in front of my belly button or across my body. So let me be really clear. What I try to do is give people drills and progressions to break the old habits. And that's what finishing on this side does. And listen, if you're learning this and you're still shanking balls, it's probably a good thing because you're learning how to hit on edge. And it's just that last moment when you square the racket face up.
Yeah, Jeff calls that move the dirty diaper, right? Because he's holding it out there.
Yeah, when you hold right here, let's see if I should show another serve here. I'll go back to inside. I'm going to make sure I elbow. So the reason why it's a dirty diaper is when I was I'm going to get the toss over my head, and I am going to finish on the same. So I'm showing all the progressions I'm going through. So if you hold the racket up like this, it's like you're holding a stinky, dirty diaper away from you. And I didn't make that up. I got that from a 9-year-old that I was coaching 10 years ago. And he said, I have a 3-year-old brother, and it's like I'm holding a stinky, dirty diaper. So that came from a 9-year-old. I wasn't that creative. But anyway, long story short, it's about getting in the right position. It's about learning the right progressions. And it's about upgrading your body. That's the key.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Let me bring you back here. We've had a couple of questions.
Great, let's answer them.
One was about, and I know we kind of have similar thoughts on this, because it seems like everybody always asks us on every single serve, every serve video, there's always that one question. Do you pronate when you're doing that?
Yeah.
First of all, we got 212 people on. You guys rock. Now, what are your thoughts on the whole pronation thing and focusing on it and obsessing with it as a player?
So I'm going to tell you a quick story. In the last month, got an email from a client who bought my mastery course, serve mastery course, in his 70s. He's a lawyer. So these lawyer types, they like to analyze. Okay. I always, okay, he's a lawyer. All right, let's see where this one goes. He's the guy that's on all the tennis forums. He's asking every tennis guru out there about the biomechanics of the serve. He wants to understand it. I love that. Great. You want to understand it. So now he comes to me and says, are you pronating on the slice serve? Are you pronating on the kick serve? And he sends me a video, and there's a lot of things that aren't quite right. And he admits, hey, my body's not where it used to be. And where I go with that, I'm like, okay, if you want to understand the biomechanics and 60 degrees here and when you pronate here and when you, great, knock yourself out. My experience is that I never got into that. I never went down that rabbit hole. I was all about positions and feelings and giving myself and giving others tangible things to benchmarks to work on. And then if you do, does it really matter if it's pronating or not pronating? If the ball's doing what it's supposed to do? So the answer to the question, and I think you'll agree with this, Peter, but if you don't, that's fine too. You're pronating, well, we can even use a different term, but you're pronating on every serve if you're doing it correctly.
Yes.
The thing is I don't think about it. Like, I played at the highest level of the game, and I think we could even ask the best players in the world, and they're like, I don't think about pronation. It just freaking happens. Just happens. But it happens because all the things we've been talking about today, it's like it builds on itself, so it happens. And so another term for pronation that I've heard John Craig talk about it really very well, another great serve coach, is that it's this rotation of the shoulder. So you feel this rotation of the shoulder. And that can only happen, again, if you're in the correct body position. If you're facing the net, if I'm trying to face the net and hit a serve like this, you can't rotate your shoulder as much. You're going to I feel clicking when I do that. I feel tight. But if you turn your body like this and you side bend a little bit, then the arm just wants to rotate. So you need to look at it a different way of like, I just need to pronate on my serve. I would say you need to get into a better position where when you're making contact, your body's more sideways and you're side bending so that the arm naturally wants to rotate.
That's good stuff.
With the kick serve, when I teach the dirty diaper, working with someone right now, when she tries to hit the dirty diaper, every serve is going down into the net. So she's curling at the end like this, the dirty diaper. She's curling. So pronation would be finishing out like this way with the palm away. And then supination would be this way. Okay. So the palm's towards you. But what she does is she curls too quick and the ball goes down. So she doesn't understand the up component yet, which is, again, if you have a frying pan grip, you're used to going like this. You didn't learn to go up first. You didn't learn to go up like this. And that's that pronation or that rotation of the shoulder, is that when you have to go up first and almost pop the ball up in the air. So like popping it up and then you curl. And then people give me a hard time. Well, curling shouldn't matter. Like the ball is already gone. And my answer to that is that if you have a clear finish, if you have a defined finish with your forehand, your backhand, your serve, I believe it gives your body and your brain a pathway to get to. And so if you know you have a swing path that goes up and over like this and you have to finish like this, you can't swing this way and go like this at the end. It won't be right. So that's why I'm so big on follow-throughs, because it just gives you a pathway for your body and your mind to move in that direction.
Yeah. That is great stuff. Hey guys, I believe right now, and comment if you agree, I think Jeff is absolutely killing this live stream today with the kick serve. And that's why I'm going to put in his link. If you have not, right, Monday's gone. Jeff's lesson, if you still are in the 48-hour pass, you can't go back and go, oh, this is a good lesson he gave. I didn't get to watch it enough. Go get your lifetime access pass. And you use the link I just put in. Jeff also has a special bonus that he's going to give to you. What is the bonus that if they go on your link that they will get in addition to TennisCon 4 and your amazing lesson you gave.
Yeah, thanks. Well, first off, let me just, and I heard the beginning of your talk with Jorge the other day. Jorge, another good guy in the industry. I want to, how many people are on right now?
217.
Yeah. I don't think there's a better guy in our tennis industry than Coach Pete Freeman to galvanize and bring people together. There isn't a better guy. I mean, most of us are on our islands. He's always trying to get me to promote more stuff and like share more stuff. And I put my stuff on YouTube and I have my nice little business, but this guy there's people that are connectors in the world and Pete is a connector and he really sees the value. And I just want to plug you, before I plug myself.
Thank you, man.
It takes a lot. I'm an introvert. So I like to do my own thing. It's nothing against anybody. It's like, sometimes I don't want to do more work. I already work hard. But you just do so much for the tennis world and you've brought so many people together. So I want to acknowledge that. And I think the people on here probably see that as well. So keep doing what you're doing, Pete. With the kick serve, what I wanted to share is the lesson. So Pete comes to me and he's like, okay, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I am the serve surgeon. And so I love teaching the serve and I think that's my sweet spot. So why don't we just do serve? He says, okay, do kick serve. So I go out to the park. I film my videos at a park. I don't need much, it's go to the park. And, this video that I put into TennisCon 4, I put things in there. I'm not just saying this to sell. I put things in there that are not in any videos that are even in my other courses. And the reason being is because I keep learning. I keep expanding on my teaching. And so Pete and TennisCon got the latest up-to-date kick serve stuff. And that lesson alone is worth thousands of dollars. That's, people say, okay, it's $97 or 67 or 109, whatever the price is. You're not paying that. You're actually paying for my 40 years of studying. You're paying for Peter's 40 years of studying the game. You're paying all these other, you got to think of it like these people have spent thousands of years to figure it out. And they're just giving it to you on a silver platter. It's a no-brainer. Like, I know you spend money on your business and invest in things you're passionate about. I do too. I spend a lot of money. So it's kind of like, it's not pressure to buy. It's more, I want people to shift their mindset to like invest in yourself, invest in your growth. It's amazing stuff. And so, yes, I do. If you do buy, I have a kick serve secrets course. I break down the kick serve and the drills and everything. I normally sell it when it's on sale. It's $47, but the value is like $197 or $397. It's crazy, but I'm going to give it free and throw it in there if you pick it up.
Yeah, that is awesome, guys. Definitely go to his link. If there's been more comments, I'm just going to put his link in again, and then we're going to get into some of the physical questions because we had a couple people said, I mean, that one still shot of you where you're just like way back there. People are like, first of all, how are you going to do that with your lower back? And then I like how you're talking about we're actually opening up the thoracic. So let's say this is tight. Let's start with this first because you say this is the most important part. It's got to open up. What are some tests you can do? Like, how do you know if you're like, man, I shouldn't even touch the kick serve because if I do, I'm in the hospital. Like, what should you be doing before you even try and attempt what you're showing?
So let me give me a minute here to try to pull something up so you can educate the world here while I'm doing this. I wanted to download something that way I could visually show it. So just give me a minute here.
Yeah, I just want to point out Christopher is a really cool guy. He's been on almost every single time we've gone live. He says the lessons really don't cost me anything. I watch them hundreds of times, and that's true. And I bet you, I'm willing to bet that a lot of these people who have watched online instruction have improved a lot more, a lot faster than taking private lessons. I remember a couple years ago, a guy who loves tennis, he brought me up to Maine. I taught a big group of people. Most of them don't do online instruction. Their strokes were, I hate to say it, they were terrible. Okay. We had a lot of fun. Everybody was a great person. They've been playing 30, 40 years, terrible strokes. Then I met a guy who just was about to turn 50, only been playing tennis 8 years. He looked like a darn pro. I'm like, and he showed up with a notebook. Like he kept writing down everything I was telling him. I'm like, where did you learn how to play tennis. He's like, I've only watched online videos. This is my first private lesson ever. And his technique was rock star-ish.
I'm telling you, I have people that get in my stuff, and within 2 months they're sending me videos, and they're new to the game, and they literally look more like a pro than people that have been playing for years, probably because they have a blank slate, but they're all in. Like, they're all in on it. And I think if you go all in with somebody that resonates with you, you can get amazing results. So I am ready now. I'm going to share my screen.
It's ready, guys. Here it comes.
Do this. And I'm going to hopefully keep bringing some heat here. Let's see, application window. Okay, I'm going to try this.
It's coming up. There it is.
So this is a student that I work with that's trying to make this transformation from a pancake, a frying pan to a serve. And so she's been doing this for months, and it may look familiar to what that position I'm trying to get. Look at, like, she didn't have a turn like this before. And someone said, well, how do I do this, with my body? This is a woman that had a car accident that has tightness in her spine. And so it looks, I'm going to see. So I did a little comparison here, but what I want to show is she's trying. See, she needs to improve a few things, but this is back in March. She's actually way better now, but look at, she's not doing the arc that I'm, she's not arching her body here like I was, right? But
she's on her way.
But she's on her way, right? She needs the ball position a little bit more left. But this is part of the process. So when someone says, I can't get into Jeff's position, that's okay. What you want to do is you want to reorientate your stance and your starting position and your swing path. And then you start videotaping it as long as you have no pain, and you try to match it up to what we were talking about earlier, where it's in the ballpark, right? When she's making contact here, she's not in that crazy position I'm in. When she's not doing that. So I just want you to know, look, she's got pretty good turn, and she's on the path. And again, this was 7 months ago, and I have more popular videos for her, or more recent videos where she's making those changes. I want to show you something else.
Cool.
So I'm going to share again, because it looks like what it does is it just shares the exact video. So I'll just keep kind of coming back and forth here.
Okay.
And this one right here, I wasn't able to download this one, but I did this video a couple months ago. You might have even commented on it, Peter.
I did. It was a great video.
Yeah. So basically someone said, how do I get rid of back pain on the serve? All right. So you can see the towel and you can see the foam roller here. So like there's a stretch here I call the 90-90. This is going to help open up your hips. And many people can't even get to this position, but you can start practicing it, right? This one right here, here's a classic one where you take a foam roller and you roll over your mid-spine right here. You don't want to roll over your low back, but you start to create some movement in your mid-spine, in your thoracic. And so the question, if I'm a player and I'm watching this right now, I always say, Peter, that the higher quality of the question, the better the answers. The question of why can't I do that? That's not a good question. The question to be asking is, what kind of exercises and drills can I do to open up my hips and my thoracic spine? And if I'm like, okay, Jeff resonates me, I want to work with him, fine. I can get you guys the exercises. I can help you with this. If you get into membership with, it's another conversation. But if I'm like, you know what? I just want to do my own search. Go on YouTube and now start searching thoracic spine mobility, hip mobility, and start watching YouTube videos and create your own little program with the exercises and do it for 30 days and start to notice what happens. I've got programs for mobility and such, and people tell me after 30 days, their back pain goes away. So look at it like that, where you're learning from this video that Peter and I are doing, and now go out and start implementing a couple action steps. Maybe it's one exercise for your thoracic spine and one exercise for your hip. And then maybe it's a swing path drill or a stance drill, and do those drills, do those things consistently for 30 days, and then reevaluate and see what you need to do next.
That is really great stuff. And that video right there on YouTube was just fantastic. I remember watching that going, that was a special video.
Let me show one more thing while we're on the body. And if you want more body stuff, I can go into more detail, but let me just show you something else. So one of the things I haven't mentioned today, that my education was expanded tremendously when it comes to the serve, when I was asked to be a consultant and instructor for a group called Racket Fit. Mm-hmm. Racket Fit came from the golf world. Titleist Performance Institute, TPI. Greg Rose, amazing doctor and researcher. He asked me to be the technical instructor. So I went in and I started learning. Now, I already had a good handle on the technique, but they started teaching me the connection to the body. So I was already onto it. I was already doing things, but they really helped me take it to another level. And Greg does these 2-day seminars, and I do them with him when we do them. We actually came to Atlanta once, maybe twice. Can't remember, once or twice. But one of the big things he talks about, can you see the video right now?
It looks fantastic.
All right. So this is called expanded breathing. And simply what I'm doing is I'm putting my hands on different parts of my rib cage and I'm working on my breathing. So a lot of people talk about belly breathing, which is great. Helps, calm you down and stay grounded and get in the zone. But a lot of people are very restricted with their breathing because they hold their breath their whole lives. And so if you can practice expanding your rib cage and your belly, but expand your rib cage more, Greg always says that is one of the number one things you can do to change your body is to actually expand your rib cage. And that's where people are stuck on the kick serve. They're not able to open up their rib cage. So I want you to be thinking about how you can really improve the movement of your rib cage and your breathing throughout your entire rib cage so that it can improve your performance and your health. And people don't talk about that a lot. People talk about breathing for Zen and for mental toughness, but it's actually very important to learn how to hit a kick serve with expanded breathing.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Well,
all right. First of all, this is the guy who I came up to. All right, this guy, you want to talk about obsessed with tennis, Jeff. We have to talk about Tom for a little bit. And you guys can all probably relate because I'm seriously love you guys. And Tom is one of the examples I always use. I talk about something called a totally obsessed tennis player. And I think that, Tom, you might have been one of the ones that made me think of this because for a long time, I had just given lessons to quote unquote what I consider normal people. Like, it's like 50% of the people you give a lesson to in the real world, you're almost asking half the lesson, like, why are you here? Like, you don't even want to be here. You're not even listening to me. I've never felt that with an online student. They are so obsessed with tennis. They learn so fast. Tom came down to Atlanta from Maine to take a lesson. That's something right there. The first day, he has a really tough time with his forehand. It's not smooth, doesn't look great, and you can tell he's thinking a lot because I gave him a lot of information. Next day, I feed him the first ball. He looks like a rock star, relaxed, beautiful preparation, unit turn, flows right off the racket, nice rotation, good power, everything you want in a stroke. I'm like, dude, you've been working. He's like, last night I went home and I watched videos all night of your instructions on the forehand.
Yep.
And he said, and then I was in, this is the best part. I was in the bathroom with a tube of toothpaste and I went to go swing and I squeezed too hard and the toothpaste went all over the mirror. And my wife walked in at the same time and went, what the hell are you doing in here?
Yeah.
But it paid off. The next day he had a beautiful forehand.
It's a better habit than some of the other habits that are not life-giving. So if you want to improve if you're obsessed, you might as well just obsess over something that's super healthy and amazing like tennis.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, people talk about addiction and it's got a negative connotation to it because lots of times when you get addicted to something, it's not good for you. It's very dangerous. It can ruin your life. But, if you can gravitate towards something that doesn't, and tennis has been proven to be improving longevity. And I think a big part of that is not only the physical stuff, but it's the mental stuff. I think people that are not only just playing tennis, but like, man, I still want to learn how to get better. that part of working your mind, that's been proven. When you're doing the physical and the mental thinking about stuff, you live longer. And that's why it's so good, this sport.
I find it fascinating that people that are obsessed with the sport and they come to it and they want to improve, their skills and their strategy. And you and I both know it's so important to have a good technical foundation and a good strategic, tactical skills, right? But they don't really think about how they can upgrade their body. They may look at fitness at like, I just need to get in shape, but they're not looking at it the way I'm talking about it today. Like, wow, if I improve my thoracic mobility, I can serve better. Wow, if I get my hips more mobile, I can move better. And how do I find the exercises that can help? And with the mental game, they're like, oh, I've been stuck at 3-5 for 3 years. And then when I start talking to them, the language they're using to themselves is, I always miss this shot. I always lose to the pusher. I'm like, well, guess what? Your mental game is not that great. So I like to have people, can you look at it kind of like with a 3-pronged attack? The tennis skills, the body skills or the athletic skills or the injury prevention skills, and then your mental skills. And spend more time on this stuff that has nothing to do with hitting the ball, because Tom is actually doing the mental part. He's actually watching the videos and he's mentally learning the game. He's in the mental kind of framework of that. And then for him, it's going to be about when he goes to compete, it's how can he elevate his performance by focusing on the right things with his mind.
Yeah. And Tom gave me one of the best tips I've ever heard. He's actually a psychologist, super smart guy, super nice guy. Tom, I will never forget the time I had out there with you in Atlanta and in Maine. It was awesome. We watched the Labor Cup together, the first Labor Cup. It was great. And he said, because he deals with a lot of people who have depression, right? And this was one of the best things I've ever heard. He's like, I tell people who are depressed, when you feel tired and you want to take a nap, get up and exercise. He's like, because when you get depressed, I've had rough times, I've had some really rough things that's happened to me. And so everybody has their downs. And a lot of times you're down, you're just like, man, I just want to lay on the couch and like never. Yeah. And then you get more depressed and your body just starts to like sink into mush. And so, I thought that was one of the best things. And it was so simple. He's like, I tell my patients, when you want to go take a nap, get up and exercise if you want to stop being depressed, because then your body, everything, the endorphins are going to start to kick in and you're going to start to work your way out of depression. I thought that was so genius. So Tom, thank you for that tip.
Yeah, this came up a couple of days ago. Someone was saying, yeah, we think this person needs to talk to a therapist or, hire a life coach. And I think that's amazing. And that maybe is part of the plan. And what I said, because I know this situation really well, I said, you know what I would do if I were him? I would hire a trainer and I would work out 6 days a week with that trainer at a specific time and call me in a month and see how he feels. Because he can go sit on the couch for a month and listen. Again, I believe in therapy and I believe in coaching and life coaching. I love it. It's amazing. But a lot of people actually need to get moving and just sweat and get out there and hit a damn ball. And then they start feeling better. So, yeah.
Cool. So gotta get you back to Maine. I'm coming, buddy. I'm coming. All right. It's helped even arthritis, says Larry, who's another big online supporter. We appreciate you, Larry. Jeff, this has been amazing. Is there anything you want to do to summarize it, or what's next for you? Let us know what's going on.
Sure. So, to summarize it, I've kind of tried to pull it together throughout this talk today. To summarize it, if you want to learn how to hit a big kick, look at it more like, I want to learn how to serve like a pro. I want to learn how to have the proper swing path. And I want to learn how to hit topspin, because topspin gives me the control that I need under pressure and gives me that control. And from there, when you learn that, you can build on that and you can actually hit the kick. So they're kind of one and the same. And when you look at this process, look at going slower, look at breaking down into progressions, small little incremental progressions. Like the wins now aren't about hitting a kick serve. The wins are, can I hold a continental grip? Can I improve my stance? Can I finish on this side of my body? Can I stay sideways and side bend? Learn the different little nuances and look at those as your victories. Those are your wins. And then when you wake up in 6 months, you'll look at a video and go, wow, I've come really far. And then the final thing is to really work on your body. work on how you can improve your athleticism, specifically getting mobility in the thoracic spine and mobility in your hips. If you can learn those two things, and even we didn't talk about the feet and the ankles, but look at how you can really upgrade your mobility. Greg Rose says you should spend, when you look at your training, spend the amount of time on your training, the percentage time on your training that matches your age. So I just turned 47. I think you're close to the same age, Peter.
I turn 48 next month.
Okay, so we're same exact age. How about that? So we're 47. We need to be spending 47% of our time on mobility. And that's a lot of time. And most people probably spend 5%, if that.
Yeah.
So look at it that way. Become a mobility and stability obsessed tennis player, and you'll watch your tennis soar as you get older.
Yes. Look at this. I don't know, Pete, these live streams get better every day. Yes. All right. We had a great one with you today. Also, I just do want to talk about the live stream last night. We had Maribon on. He gave away bonuses. So I've already sent him actually, he's got it already in the queue at 3 p.m. today. If you bought off Maribon's link, you will get an email from him with his bonus, which is great. Remember, Jeff, today, if you buy off his link, which I'm going to put it in here again, he is giving you a full course. And you already saw, we were just talking about the kick serve, and it was damn interesting to me. And you're going to get his entire course, the basics, the progressions, the exercises. And the progressions are important. I'm sure that Jeff is going to take you through a lot of different exercises because it is hard. And I think this is a mistake that a lot of people do. And Jeff, just let me know if I'm off base. Maybe you teach it differently. But I think one of the toughest things to do is like look at someone like Jeff serving from the baseline, hitting a kick serve, then going right to the baseline with a bucket of balls and trying to do it. You need to be working around different parts of the court. Lots of times I like people close. Lots of times I like people not even on a court. And I'm sure that's probably all inside the course. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah. And I always put people in a half serve position where you saw Christy. Yeah. And I'm like, you're not progressing past here until this swing path is good right here. And then we'll start moving the racket down. Everybody is going way too fast. And what confuses people is they want to change their technique and hit the serve in. They want to change their technique and get it in. It doesn't work like that. It's two separate things. You're going to get it in when you want to go play that 4-0 match and you have to find a way to win. Fine, get it in. But when you want to learn a kick serve, it's completely separate and the ball doesn't have to go in. And you got to train two different skill sets.
Yep. And one thing,
if you like this live stream, you resonated with me, feel free to email me, Jeff@tennisevolution.com. If you have any questions, we'll get you hooked up. You buy the course, you get the bonus course, send us the receipt. We'll get you hooked up on the inside. But again, a big shout out. I know you might have more to say, Peter, but a big shout out to you again for pulling this together. Maribon's also awesome as well. He's bringing the community together with his tennis summit. So we got to stick together during these challenging times. We are the leaders. We are the positive people out there exercising in a growth mindset. A lot of people are not doing that. And we got to stay the course as things start to get better over time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jeff. And I just want to clarify one thing because we might have some new people on today. When I'm saying it's Jeff's special link, because some people expect to go to the website and see Jeff's page, like buy off it's Jeff Saldenstein here and buy. It's not going to say Jeff at all. It's going to basically be TennisCon 4 if you want to get lifetime access to that. So it's going to be talking about TennisCon 4. It's going to be showing my 4 bonuses that you get with it as well, and all 40 plus videos that's inside TennisCon. And then that basically is tracked that it came from Jeff's link, and then I can send him the list of who bought, and then he can email you out his bonus. That's how it works in case you get confused, because we had people confused on that. They're expecting to see like Jeff on the page saying, hey, welcome to my special page. It's actually TennisCon 4 lifetime access, and that's how you get it. Jeff, you are amazing. This was a great way to spend my lunch hour, and I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I loved it. I always love talking with Pete. You're awesome, and your fans and your community is amazing. And again, we got to just keep going. There's John Craig. Thank you, my man. You're pretty good yourself. This is the pat on the back day. We're all telling each other how great we are, but it feels good to get complimented. So
Yes.
you all have a great day out there. Stay the course, stay positive, stay in a growth mindset, and keep just getting a little bit better every day.
Take care, guys. Always take